It is that time of year, people. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the enclosure. Guys, I debated on all of the material for this video. It has been very well thought out. I actually made notes, and I would like to make a video that is outstanding enough for each one of my followers to share this video and get the word out. As you can tell by the title, The Only Good Human is an Educated Human, we're going to dive into the relationship that humans have with snakes. As most of you know, it's not a very good one. We've all heard the saying, the only good snake is a dead snake. With people that say that, it's taken me a long time to not immediately jump on the defensive on that. People just don't realize that there are people like myself and probably a lot of my subscribers that are very passionate about snakes. And either that or they just don't care. I mean, their fear is so seated within them that it doesn't matter. I mean, they want all snakes dead, which, you know, hope you enjoy the plague and the Lyme disease and all that other stuff that goes with it. We'll get to that. Okay. First of all, let me state that fear is nothing more but a lack of knowledge. And for the most part, we have to, as snake people, and I'm making this video, one, for my subscribers, as a tool that they can show someone that says they hate snakes or they're afraid of snakes. We're going to try to pass on that education. But I want to also make this video for the person that's actually going to click on this video and say, okay, so-and-so wanted me to watch this, so let's go. Let's see what this is about. All right, so first and foremost, we all know that fear is a lack of education, or a lack of knowledge. If you don't know about something, you may be afraid of it, and that's perfectly fine. But as a human race, we are taught to learn things, to familiarize ourselves with things. The whole thing of fear in snakes is we weren't born with it. This is something that was passed on to us either by the people we lived with, or the people that in our surrounding areas, or the TV, or some kind of media source. But we were taught to fear snakes. I myself fell right into it. I mean, I could not stand snakes up until I was 23 years old. We all heard the stories. Oh, when I was a kid, I used to go out to the creek and catch snakes and all this fun. Now my whole basement's loaded with snakes. It wasn't me, guys. I mentioned this on another video, but for those of you that don't know who I am and are watching my channel for the first time, it's perfectly natural in our society to have a fear of snakes. It just goes without saying for the most part, and it's sad, actually. But in order to curb your fear, which, by the way, is not healthy, fear is not healthy at all. So let's combat that fear in ways of education, okay? What people first need to understand is that, like I said before, there are people like me that are very passionate about snakes. There's people that are passionate about amphibians, about dogs, cats. And not once, if somebody were to say, a complete stranger were to come up to someone and say, you know what, I love dogs. I just think dogs are the coolest thing since sliced bread. Do you think that other person is going to look at them and say, you know, the only good dog is a dead dog? By way of common courtesy. We know that, you know what, that's probably not something we should say to someone that likes dogs that much. What about us snake people? Why do we not count when it comes to that kind of courtesy? So all of my non-snake people watching this, think about that a little bit. Okay, let's go over some of the benefits to certain snakes Obviously, I can't sit here and go over every single snake that you may encounter. There are just way too many of them. But with these that I am going to cover, it's pretty much going to be covering all the species, okay? First one I want to talk about is your rat snakes. These are your most common that we see, especially here in Alabama. They are a black and gray or black and charcoal, and they're checkered pattern on the back. Of course, if they're threatened, they're going to sit there and they're going to flatten their head, and it's going to look kind of spade-shaped, which is really bad idea when you're running into humans, because most people that are not snake people, they are taught to think if it's got that arrow-shaped head, it's venomous. No, it's called a mimicking defense. Water snakes do it. Rat snakes do it. A lot of your colubrids do it. They'll flatten their body and their head, and it actually appears to be spade-shaped. So you cannot go by that. That's just one of those learning tools. Another one is the vertical pupils. For the most part, yeah, if you're talking about native snakes. Right behind me, this girl right here, vertical pupil. She's a reticulated python. She's not venomous. Yes, it's different when you're talking about your pet trade. But as far as your native species, like your rat snake, it's going to be round, but it's all the whole eye. So you really can't base your knowledge on that, okay? Benefits of a rat snake. They eat mice, they eat lizards, they eat insects, other small items, but guess what's not on their list? Humans. They don't eat humans. Pretty sure they don't tackle them either. So check them off. It's not a snake you need to be concerned about. Matter of fact, they're doing you a lot of good. And we'll get to that point in a little while too. They also eat bird eggs. I don't know how many times I have a client that'll say, I cannot stop these birds from making nests on my porch. And then 2 days later, they're complaining because there was a rat snake on their porch. Which do you not want? Do you not want the birds or do you not want the snakes? If you have the bird eggs, you're going to have the snakes. If you have the snakes that don't damage anything, that don't discolor your trim around your porch, you're not going to have the birds. You were just complaining to me 2 days ago that you didn't want birds making nests on your porch. Seems to me a solution has just presented itself. Okay, other than that, I digress. Let's talk about king snakes. King snakes, we have the speckled and we have the eastern king snake here, both of which are protected. They are protected for a reason, because one of the things on their diet is a copperhead. They also eat lizards. They also eat insects. They also eat mice. Wait a minute. They don't eat humans either. All right, there's two. Mark the king snake off. Don't eat humans. Black racers. Pretty much the same thing as king snakes. They'll eat other snakes. They'll eat the lizards, the mice, the insects. No humans. Nope. There's 3 for 3. Check. No reason to be afraid of them either. Now let's get into the more broader spectrum of the conversation. Copperheads. Okay. Let's learn a little bit about copperheads. Copperheads are very docile. They're not aggressive. They will not chase you. They are the least toxic of our venoms here in Alabama especially, but in the United States. The copperheads have the least toxic venom. Not to mention that they are a cytotoxin, which basically that goes after the tissue. So it's not like it's going to be a life-threatening thing unless you have some kind of bee allergy or something like that, or elderly. I think with the elderly or even the young kids, we do have to pay a little bit more attention to. But there again, let me go over one specific statistic. Say that fast 10 times. 90% of all snake bites occur when someone is trying to kill the snake or someone is messing with the snake. Okay, 90%. That's up there pretty good. So, that would tell the ordinary person with even half of a brain that, okay, if I don't want to get bit, seeing as though 90% of people are bit when they're trying to kill the snake or trying to mess with it. 90%. That would tell me that I shouldn't try to kill it and I shouldn't mess with it. My chances of not getting bit has increased tenfold. Bingo! That's what I need to do. I need to turn around and walk away. Logic. It's just logic. Okay, back to the copperhead. Least defensive, all right? They try to blend. Their defense is camouflage. They are going to sit there and they are going to lay still. Yes, you may walk right on past them. Chances are, if you've hiked anywhere in North Alabama, I guarantee at some point you have walked right past a copperhead and never even knew it. That is their defense. They are excellent at camouflage. Now, yes, if you happen to step on one, chances are it's going to strike. Why is it going to strike? One, you just stepped on them. Two, the only line of defense that a snake, any snake, has, there are two things. One, biting. Now the other one, not all of them do it, but it's called musking. They'll excrete a chemical through their skin, smells awful. It's mainly for things that are trying to eat them. So, we're not trying to eat snakes, so let's go back to the first one, biting. That is their only line of defense. This is where I'm going to get deep, people. Okay, imagine, let's wear their shoes. They don't have shoes. What should we use for this analogy? Let's wear their shedded skin for this one. Imagine yourself, a 6-foot human being out playing in the yard, when all of a sudden, a 96-foot creature comes out of the woods, right where you're playing, and is right on top of you, right over top of you. What are you going to do? First thing you're going to do, oh no, you're going to freeze up. All right? And that as the hand or limb of this creature comes down and wants to mess with you, and he's got a stick or... Okay, let's be honest. If he's 96 feet tall, he's not using a stick. He's using a whole tree. Okay? And he's poking and prodding at you. And you're going to be doing this and being defensive and going to try to get away from this person. But as you're trying to get away, he's taking this tree, because he's 96 feet tall, and he's pulling you back in, and he's just, and then all of a sudden he starts whacking you with this tree. I don't care who you are, you're going to try to fight back. You're going to be defensive. Okay? The point I'm making is you are 12 times taller than a coiled up snake trying to mind his own business and trying to tell you to get away. I don't want to be messed with. All right? So you think, standard height of a coiled up snake, depending on the species and the size, but you figure 6 inches. 12 times, 96 feet. That's where I come up with those figures, by the way. So let's imagine this 96 foot creature still whacking at you, and you have no arms and no legs. You're just immobile. What's the only defense that you have? You're going to be biting. That's all these things are doing. Let's go back. 90% of all snake bites occur when someone is trying to kill a snake or trying to mess with it. It's open and shut case, guys. Don't mess with them. Walk away. Copperheads, what they eat: mice, cicadas, locusts, grasshoppers, lizards, any of the other small rodents. No humans. It's still not on this list. Check. Now come my favorite. This is the snake I love talking about because it gets everybody in an uproar. If you're new to my channel, please pay attention, if not to anything else, to this one right here. Let's talk about cottonmouth. We've all heard it. I was fishing down the old boat, down the old Mulberry, go rolling down through there, fix the cast. Next thing I know, here comes that cottonmouth come crawl up on my boat. I hope I did that justice. I really do. Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. Snakes, how do they find their food? They sense the vibration in the air. They sense a vibration, their tongue starts going. They're trying to pick up a scent. What do cottonmouths eat? Fish and mice and other small rodents, crickets, lizards. Fish. All right, you just said you were out there on the Mulberry rowing, fishing. Chances are either yourself, your clothes, or you may have in the boat fish. They've picked up on that scent. That's the reason they're coming for your boat. If you are in a kayak or in a canoe and they're coming up to you, they're picking up on that vibration. They're associating that with a food source. They're coming to investigate. All right, nothing more, nothing less. If it crawls up into your boat, stay still. Don't be jumping around. Don't be leaping out of the boat. Stay perfectly still. Will not get bit. I will go out there right now and sit down right next to a cottonmouth, and if I'm perfectly still, it is not going to do a thing. Do you want to know why? I just named it. Mice, fish, lizards, other small rodents. Not humans. They don't want to waste their venom on something that they can't eat. Okay? They don't want that. They're being defensive at some point. First they were on, okay, I'm going to eat. I sent something over here. Next thing you know, they got an oar coming down at them, or a fishing pole, or something from the boat that's coming in and cracking them over the head. They've officially gone from eating mode to defensive mode. Holy crap, somebody's trying to beat me to death. I got to get out of here. They're not letting me. They keep whacking me with this oar. All right, now I got to be defensive and bite. That's all it is. 90% of all snake bites happen when you're trying to kill them or you're messing with them. I'm going to refer to that often. Okay. Rattlesnakes. Oh, one other thing about cottonmouth. Cannot believe I almost forgot this. The other thing on cottonmouth's menu, they eat rattlesnakes as well. So there is yet another benefit from a seemingly formidable opponent, but they're actually here to help. Everything has got a purpose. Everything has got a food source, and everything that they're here to eat is something that is going to be beneficial for us, okay? So if they're out there eating rats, they're benefiting us. If they're out there eating bird eggs, we may not know it, but actually they're benefiting us because maybe now the birds won't build nests on your porch. Oh, why is this so? This is so rudimentary, but nobody gets it. Bottom line, snakes are beneficial, okay? They don't destroy anything. Here is a good scenario that I get often. I do pest control here in Alabama. I also remove snakes for donation only. If somebody calls me, they have a snake, all the time, it's a copperhead, regardless if it's a banded water snake or a rat snake or even a ringneck snake. It's in their eyes, it's always a copperhead. Just this morning on Facebook, a woman posts, she killed a copperhead. She was so happy that it's dead and it was by her pond. It was a banded water snake. And of course on Facebook, you know, everybody knows exactly. So everybody starts posting, oh, good for you. Yeah, that was a copperhead. That's a good thing you killed it. You have kids. We'll get through that in a minute too. All right. Here's the story I was going to get to before I got sidetracked there. During the summer months, I do get calls frequently. And most of them will be, okay, I've had an issue with my electricity. So I called in an electrician. He had to go up in my attic to repair some wires. And while he was up there, he came down and said, ma'am, you have a really bad snake problem. There are snake skins in your attic. For one, I don't know of any attics that do not have snake skins here in Alabama. When snakes go in the shed, Their eye caps get opaque. They can't see. In order to protect them from predators, they seek shelter in a secluded area or a place where their predators can't get to them. Just so happens your attic is a really good place. It's nice and warm. If you have any kind of ductwork, you have moisture up there. And guess what? As soon as they shed, they have a food source up there. Because guaranteed, if I go in that attic and there are snake skins there, I guarantee I will find more rodent fecal matter in there than snake skins. Okay? Not to mention, the whole premise of your electricity got damaged wasn't because of the snake. It was because of the rat in which the snake was there to get rid of for you. Okay? So let's backtrack a little bit. All right? A rodent ate your electrical wiring. Now all of a sudden you got a rat snake in there and it's going to eat that rat. Seems like a pretty good trade. It'll control your mice for you in your attic for free. They are nature's pest control. Okay? We'll leave it at that. They don't carry diseases. Like I said before, rodents, over 30 diseases. They're responsible for the Black Plague. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but if not, if I did, bear with me. One snake is responsible for the consumption of roughly 4,000 ticks per year. Right? Ticks that these snakes are consuming are the very ticks that are responsible for Lyme disease. Lyme disease. This is a disease that has no cure. This is a disease that you carry for the rest of your life. Imagine how bad this would be if we were not to have snakes. Okay? Each and every snake serves a purpose. Now, there are many states out there that have protected labels on their snakes. I think Virginia is one where you cannot kill certain snakes. I wish everybody would wake up. Here in the South, we're getting there, okay? We have a protected label on the Eastern Diamondback rattlesnake, which is the largest rattlesnake in the country. It is protected, yet we still have people going out and killing them. Now, if we can just find a way to enforce that law, we'd be better off. In closing, our job as snake people is to educate the people that are not snake people. I highly encourage each and every one of my subscribers, my viewers, whoever you are, please share this video. Get the education out there. Make people realize that snakes are not panic worthy. Learn a little bit about them. If you want to have no fear, you have to educate. Living in fear is not healthy. We all know this. We all realize that when you have fear, it's debilitating. I, for one, the last time that I had a fear of snakes, I was crawling up under a house. I put my hand on a king snake. I literally froze. I couldn't move. I was so afraid of snakes. Not healthy. So, share this video. Make people understand our benefits of our snakes. Let's get the word out. And just, if you know somebody that has a strong fear of snakes, I'm not holding one, so they don't have to look at one. If they focus on me, they won't see the ones behind me. So, tell them that. Just look in my eyes. Okay. But spread the word. Get the news out. This is the time of year they're getting out. They're starting to move around. And it's the time of year that I cannot stand when people send me a picture of a dead snake, the head chopped off. What kind of snake is this? How about I send you a picture of a beheaded chihuahua and ask you what breed that is? Wouldn't be accepted quite as much, would it? But that's just it. That's why we have to educate. It's not as accepted. In closing, this is something that really stood out to me, and I'm giving all the credit in the world to Mr. Garrett Hartle of Reach Out Reptiles up in Pennsylvania. He brought in these next two issues. One is a quote and one is actual rationalization. which I found to be remarkably intelligent. Okay, he quoted one of his friends as saying, if you can only love things that love you back, then you don't have a very loving heart. That hits home, guys. That hits pretty hard. And if you think about that for a minute, it really does make a lot of sense. Okay. The next one, Garrett, in his rationalization for the church culture, for the religious culture. All right, in the book of Genesis, Adam and Eve were deceived by Satan, who took the shape and the form of a snake. Okay, and this I'm going to read directly from the paper so I don't mess this up. If your fear of snakes is based on the fact that they bear in their physical modern bodies the reminder of man's original sin, then it would be very hypocritical for you to hate a snake for that. How can you hate something else for your shortcomings? Thank you, Garrett. I have been looking for a rationalization for that comment. The whole snakes were cursed by God and snake was the form of Satan. I've been looking for a way to rationalize that for years. Garrett, you are the man. I appreciate you coming up with that. I hope you don't mind me sharing it. In that instance, I will say, Garrett Hardle, Reach Out Reptiles, absolutely fantastic channel. He is spot on with all of his information. He is incredibly intelligent when it comes to reticulated pythons. Check him out. He's definitely worth looking into. The last thing that I want to cover is actually something that happened to me just prior to making this video, and it kind of triggered why I should make the video as well. Going back to the whole Facebook thing where a woman stated she killed a copperhead, and it turned out to be a banded water snake, which I get it. Every snake that anybody ever sees who is not a snake person is a copperhead. That's okay. Well, I had posted a comment under that and said, unfortunately, that was a harmless banded water snake. It only eats fish, mice, such and such. If you ever are interested in educating yourself on reptiles or snakes, my advice and my education is always free. I'd be more than willing to help you. So she writes back, well, my 2-year-old granddaughter plays around that pond, and I'm not going to risk it for some silly water snake. I don't care what kind of snake it is. It's dead. Okay. So let's think of it this way. Just because your lack of parenting, your inability to parent correctly, an object has to die? What do I mean by that? Well, I'll be glad to answer that question. When I was a kid, people would tell me, hey, warm out, keep your eyes open for snakes. If you see one, you better run away. Nowadays, everybody wants to blame something else. Everybody doesn't want to take responsibility for their own actions. If you have 2-year-old grandkids, educate them. Tell them, say, hey, look, this is a pond. We have fish in our pond. There are certain things that eat fish, such as snakes. Snakes can hurt if they bite, especially the venomous kind. There are venomous kind. There are hard to tell the difference, apparently. So, if you see a snake, come get me, and we will go check it out together. And if it's a venomous snake, we're going to leave it alone. Because you know why? 90% of all snake bites occur if you're trying to kill the snake or trying to mess with it. So we're not going to do either one. And everybody lives happily ever after. Educate your kids, people. I don't care if they're 2, if they're 22. I wish I had more education earlier so I could have worked on getting all of this sooner in my life. I am going to be 49 years old in September, and I really wish I was 29 because I feel like I can make a huge difference in our society. Spread the word, people. Share this video as much as you can. Share it on Facebook. Share it to your buddies and email. Just share it. We got to get this education out. If you're a snake person and you enjoy the snakes out in the wild and you understand their beneficialness to our society, share this video. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you do share it, thank you very much. And let me know what you think about this video. Do you think I went too far? Do you think I overstepped my boundaries? I don't think so. If I did, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.